In early 2013, I buy this pipe and some hose clamps from Home Depot, and I buy 100 pounds of plates from Play It Again Sports. I start what I call my pilot test into whether or not the home gym life is right for me or not. I spend the next couple of months adding a few pieces here and there until we hit November of 2013, Black Friday. I put in a big order from Rogue and officially begin my home gym life. In the last 10 years, a lot has changed. I've flipped, switched, sold, added, and changed just about everything in my home gym. But one thing has not changed. My rack. My Rogue R3 rack that I purchased in 2013, 10 years later, is still my rack. Pretty much every other piece of equipment in this garage, bars, plates, benches, attachments, cable stuff, even the flooring, everything is different except for this rack. The question is, would I do it again? Knowing what I know now, if I was buying a rack today, would I buy the Rogue R3? That's what we're going to talk about today, is power racks. What's up everyone, Joe Gray here today to talk about power racks. I'm going to share my experiences over the last 10 years, what racks looked like back then, what they look like today, what that has looked like over that time, and what that might mean for you today if you're considering buying either your first rack or upgrading for the future. So 10 years ago when I bought my rack, the recommendations were typically that you should spend good money on a rack from a reputable company, so then that way you didn't die. Racks had one main purpose, was to help you with your barbell lifts. So you had J-cups, you had safeties, you were meant to unrack, lift. If you missed a lift, it would help you, that kind of deal. That was pretty much it. So the details on a rack and what it was made for were simple. Thus, something like the Rogue R3, 2x3 with 5/8" hardware, did exactly what it was supposed to do. Today, we're looking at a little bit different of a world for power racks. I think this is a good thought process because where we are today is that the power rack is often seen as the centerpiece to your gym. It is an item that you likely buy first with a bar, some plates, and other items. You drop it right in the middle of your garage or your home gym or however you have it laid out. And it is the cornerstone, or again, centerpiece of the whole thing. You build everything else around that rack. Add in the fact that now we have an absurd amount of options for rack attachments, and the rack is no longer only used for barbell lifts. You now have things like the Voltra 1s that you can do cable work off of it. You've got snapback rollers, you've got a UDA for dips, you've got the Bulletproof Fitness Isolator. You've got all kinds of things that can allow you to do just a tremendous amount of accessory work and different options all within, on, and around your rack without having to buy additional pieces or take up additional space in your gym. And I think this is where, if you were looking at buying a rack today, you have to start. Are you team rack attachment or not? I have historically been no. But with some of the cooler and better ones that have come out lately, I am starting to inch myself over to yes. My recommendation for the vast majority of people is, unless if you absolutely, positively, 100% know you are never gonna buy any rack attachment ever, other than J-cups and safeties, is that you go with a 3x3 rack. Probably go ahead and pony up for the 1" because the difference in price is not that much. When you look at today, the difference between a Rogue R3 and a Rogue Monster 3, so RM3, it's about 500 bucks. Now, that's a significant percentage increase, but 500 bucks to get the color you want, the laser engraved numbers, the better rack attachments, the better uprights, better stability, etc. To me, especially if you're gonna be like me and you're gonna have a garage gym for 10 plus years, 500 bucks over the course of 10 years is not that much. It doesn't really add up to a lot. Whereas having some FOMO that you cannot add on the newest, bestest, most awesome rack attachment might cost you. From there, the rack buying process gets a little wonky, but kind of simple. So 3x3, 1 inch is where I'm gonna say most of you should probably start. And then from there, you probably just need to pick a company and buy a rack. Whether you buy from Rep, Rogue, or anybody else, most of those racks are going to end up being pretty much the same thing. The difference is going to come down to things like whether you want to support American made or an import, whether you are on a stricter budget or have a little bit more money, whether you want to buy something that's a little more custom, like say from Surplus Strength or Prime Fitness, or you want to go the route of having the most rack attachments built in, like a Rep Fitness with the Aries or whatever. All that's going to boil down to your space, your goals, and how to build out a gym and all that kind of stuff. Pick a rack that fits the size, the need, the shape, etc. in your space. As long as you go with that 3x3 1 inch, you are very likely to be future-proof forever. So I didn't specifically give you a rack to buy. Yeah, I know, sorry. I will leave some details in the description if you're looking for further recommendations or to continue this discussion, stuff on Reddit and my website and whatever it might be. You can check those out if you want to take the next step in this journey. Where does that leave me with the Rogue R3? Well, as a product reviewer, as a home gym enthusiast, as a guy who spends more time in his garage than almost anywhere else in his house, there are times where I have strongly considered going the 3x3, especially 1 inch rack route. I've been offered a couple of racks for sake of review purposes and turned them down. I, at this point, have some sentimental value tied to this rack. My daughter was climbing on it at a very early age. I have squatted, deadlifted, and benched every single PR and plunder that I've had over the last 10 years out of this rack. I have custom colored my J-cups and safeties to match my Mutant Metals snapbacks, UDA, and more. I have added on the Beyond Power of Ultras, and we'll probably do more over the next year or two or more to make this rack more and more awesome and badass and crazy. On top of that, the rack has effectively done everything I've ever asked it to do. I've dumped 500 plus pounds off of my back onto the safeties and watched it not even flinch. I have missed reps, done adjustments for different sized lifters with my wife and friends and all kinds of different things, and it has done what it's supposed to do. So the sentimental value paired up with the amount of time and effort I've put into customizing this rack and specifically the attachments, and the fact that the rack has done everything I've ever asked it to do makes it hard for me to just dump it on Marketplace and grab something else. I feel like as much as I want a 3x3 1 inch rack for all of the reasons I just told you why that's what you should buy, I would need to get something special for myself, something unique, something customized, something not off the rack kind of thing. So I don't really know what that means or what that looks like or where it would come from, but that's what's in my head. So if you have any ideas, feel free to drop them below. I'm more than willing to hear them. In the meantime, the Rogue R3 is going to stick around. It's 2024. Am I buying the Rogue R3 again? Hell no. Has this rack done everything I've needed it to in the last 10 years? You bet your ass it has. And that's my sticking point and my struggle for my own personal situation compared to what I recommend for all of you if you were to take the plunge today to join us in the home gym community buying your first rack. If you liked the video, make sure you give me a thumbs up. If you want to see more of what I got coming your way, including chats like this, product reviews and insights and all kinds of good stuff, make sure you hit that subscribe button. If you want to vote and see what I've got coming down the pipeline next, make sure you hit that link in the description where you can check out everything I'm working on and vote on what I'm going to do in the future. That's it for me today. I'll be back with more Home Gym awesomeness for all of you very soon. Peace.